All right, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. We got some guests early. People want to know who are the true 144,000. How many books have been written?
A lot of forests have been cut down for that one. A lot of forest.
Led us to the answer.
I think so. I think so.
Where was that? I don't remember. That was where Ezekiel lies on his side. Where is that?
Ezekiel chapter 4. Ezekiel chapter 4. Ezekiel.
All right, give me 1 second. I'll pull it up and I'll read it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ezekiel chapter 4, starting from verse 1. The siege of Jerusalem.
All right, here we go. Ezekiel chapter 4.
We're not going to start in Revelations.
No. Yeah.
I thought you wanted the truth.
All right, here we go. Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 1. You also, son of man, take you a tile and lay it out before you, and portray upon it the city, even Jerusalem. Verse 2. And lay siege against it, and build a fort against it, and cast a mount against it. Set the camp up also against it, and set battering rams against it round about. Verse 3. Moreover, take unto you an iron pan, and set it for a wall of iron between you and the city, and set your face against it. And it shall be besieged, and you shall lay siege against it. This shall be a sign to the house of Israel. So this is talking about before Jerusalem is destroyed, correct?
Correct.
Okay, we're talking about the coming siege on the city.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was warning of against what's going to come to the city. They don't stop their foolishness.
Mhm. Ezekiel serving as the watchman on the wall, announcing what's on the way.
Yeah, same as chapter Ezekiel 33:3.
Mhm. All right, so verse 5. For I have laid upon you the years of their iniquity, according to the number of the days, 390 days. So you shall bear the iniquity of the house of Israel. All right. So, first problem that we have here is if it's 390 days, it it pushes David's birth onto day 3 instead of day 4. Should we do
But you're talking about Genesis 1:3, 4, 5.
no, I'm talking about Genesis day 4. So let's take a look. So let's just so we know that the children of Israel are cut off at 3500. Okay? Okay, so here they're saying they had iniquity for 390 years, okay? That means their rebellion starts in 3110, okay? Now, let's think about David. David reigned for 80 years, okay? So I'm going to subtract 80.
Allegedly.
Well, no, that would be the correct because they allegedly reigned for 40 years,
Mm-hmm.
right? So 80 is the correct. He would have died at 120 And he would have reigned for 80, taken power at 40, right? So, but you notice then if you subtract 40, you're in 2,990. So this was the first thing we started to ponder. And, 13, 390 days divided by 13 is 30 days, right? But we know that there's not 13 tribes, there's 12 tribes. So should it be 360 days? And when you do the math there, it works with David being born after 3001. If you want, I can walk through that math too.
Or you don't have to explain it to him.
All right, so let's take a look. So same idea. We're going to go back to 3500 when the children of Israel are cut off. They rebel. The years of their iniquity are 360 years. And that takes me to 3,140. David reigns for 80. He takes power when he's 40. That would put his birth at 3020. So that works. You see, that's in day 4. And we know that David is the son. So he must be born after the year 3000, 3001. Anytime after 3000 or anytime 3001 or later.
You're going to have to go to Genesis for that one.
That's that's just the idea. If you look at my PTR, is that God told us the end from the beginning. Every day of creation was not only a literal day of creation, but also a future prophecy of what would take place during those 1,000 years. And so that's why on day 2, he doesn't say it's good, because that's when the flood occurs. On day 3, he says it twice because you have Abraham and Moses. On day 4, when he makes the sun, you have David, the son of righteousness, who will arise with healing in his wings. But so that's the first vision that, or what Ezekiel does, right? Lies on his side for the iniquity of the house of Israel before they're cut off. So for me, this means after David reunites them, and before they're cut off. Because under David's kingdom, right, that's obviously the greatest kingdom the world has ever seen. And David reigned in righteousness, as we know.
Also, then that would make David the Messiah.
That David is the Messiah. And also, just while we're on that topic, because we've had discussions before about 1 Kings 15:5 and the blemish that they put on David with the story of Uriah the Hittite. And so, just before we proceed any further, let's take a moment to clear the man's name with a second witness here that Brother James brought my attention to. So, first, I'm going to read 1 Kings 15:5. Because David did that which was right in the eyes of all, and turned not aside from anything that he commanded him all the days of his life. Now, we've argued that the period should be right there. That full stop. David did everything God commanded him all the days of his life. And, we came to this verse because we were trying to point out that David doing priestly things could not have been violations because of the word of God right here. The only blemish, alleged blemish, is the matter of Uriah the Hittite, right? But when we go to 1 Samuel 25:28, and we listen to Abigail actually prophesy over Dao, I'll read it here, 1 Samuel 25:28. I pray you, forgive the trespass of your handmaid, for all will certainly make my Lord a sure house, because my Lord fights the battles of all, and evil has not been found in you all your days.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that verse, you can feel comfortable cutting out save only in the matter of Uriah the Hittite in 1 Kings 15:5. And you see what they've done with the toilet, the New Testament, getting you to believe that the sinless Messiah is somebody other than King David.
Well, and then again, you can expound on their allegedly Uriah the Hittite, that Joab receives the letter from David and kills. The blood is on Joab's hands because he's putting Uriah Hittite in the battle and pulling back from him. So,
And Joab doesn't voice any doesn't say anything, whereas Joab does say things to David elsewhere, right?
when
When David's going astray.
David's going to number Israel, Joab's jumping up and down, spitting out nickels, saying, "You cannot do this." So,
Mhm.
all
Yeah,
right.
so just wanted to bring that up. But anyways, let's continue here. So now verse 6, Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 6. And when you have accomplished them, lie again on your right side, and you shall bear the iniquity of the house of Ephraim 40 days. I have appointed you each day for a year. Now, obviously, this one doesn't make sense.
Well,
As
because
translated, first it says the house of Judah, but as we discussed, was it last week? There's nothing special about the house of Judah, right? I mean, there is in the sense that it's one of the tribes, right? Um, but outside of that, you know, it's Ephraim that was the priesthood that didn't do its job.
where does all that start? That starts with Jesse, the father of David, was an Ephraimite from Bethlehem,
Well,
Judah.
Samuel too. First Samuel 1:1.
Exactly.
And so you would imagine too. Eli was from Ephraim,
Hmm.
as was his two worthless sons.
Hmm.
You know, we found some nice, interesting verses about Ephraim. Jeremiah 31:9, right? That was one of them. Let's pull that up real quick. Jeremiah 31:9. And then all of Hosea chapter 9. But here, Jeremiah 31:9, they shall come with weeping and with supplication. And with supplications will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of water in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn.
Hmm.
And so, again, my firstborn, you must be born again from the Twistament, right? Again, you may be born again, and you obviously definitely are gonna want to be born again, right? Um, but that assumes that you keep the statutes, laws, and commandments of the Most High. And David is the firstborn, right? We see that in Psalms 89:27. So just to say, when he says here, Ephraim is my firstborn, when you connect it to 89:27, I will make David my firstborn higher than the kings of the earth.
Psalms chapter 2.
Psalms chapter 2, but then there's the other one. What is it? Psalms 108:8 about Ephraim is my helmet, Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine, Ephraim also is my helmet and my lawgiver. That's what it should say, because Judah is not the lawgiver. This is a more corrupt. They're trying to make you think Genesis 49:10 is not corrupted with this. Moses was the lawgiver. Moses is also from Ephraim. So, anyways, going back here to verse 6, this is what we were pondering. We were pondering when it says, lay on your right side, how many days did he lie on his right side? it says to bear the iniquity of the house of Ephraim, right? Notice the difference from between what he says in verse 4. Lie you also on your left side and lay the iniquity of the house of Israel upon it, according to the number of the days that you shall lie upon it, you shall bear their iniquity. Verse 5, for I have laid upon you the years of their iniquity, right? But notice over here in verse 6, it just says, you shall bear the iniquity of the house of Ephraim. There's no relation to because it's the number of years of their iniquity, right? So is this the punishment? Is this 400 days? 400 years,
Yeah.
right? For 400 days, I have appointed you each a day for a year. Is this Genesis 15:13? Is this Deuteronomy 28:68?
So why would verse 6 be this is laid on Ephraim? Because Ephraim's the priesthood.
Treacherous Ephraim. It's Ephraim is the one that misled the children of Israel. The priesthood was their responsibility.
Yeah. Treacherous Ephraim's going to pay double for her sins.
Exactly. That's why it pays double, because they were the priesthood.
Not
And so that's what we were thinking about. And so obviously you have 360, right? From he lies on his side for 360 days, and then he lies on his side for 400 days, right? Um, quite remarkable. But then this is when it hit us, because I asked myself, how many days are the children of Israel? How many days is the great horror that Abraham sees?
well,
Right, as we saw today, the same horror that Isaiah sees in Isaiah 21.
Also, we got to go to Daniel chapter 8 and 9.
Yeah. So we'll go, because it's all the same horror. They're all seeing the same horror. What
Yeah.
happened to Ephraim at the end, the last 400 years of the 3,500-year quote unquote Babylonian exile, right?
So then what's being said is they're going to be in captivity for 3,100 years, plus Ephraim's going to go in for another 400 for double for her sin.
And that's one of the main deceptions, the conflating of Babylon and Egypt. But as we're going to show today with scripture, Babylon is clearly destroyed before the end, well before the end. Because Babylon is destroyed, and then Ephraim is carried back to Egypt with ships for the 400 years. And you can see this because, as Brother James said, 3,500 minus 400 gives you 3,100. Now let's talk about Jubilees. We know 70 Jubilees is 3,500 years. We know 400 years, 400 divided by 50, 50 being the Jubilee, is 8 Jubilees. 70 minus 8 brings me to 62. And we have a witness of something being cut off and having nothing after 62 in Daniel 9:25. Or Daniel 9:26. Which one is it? Let me check. Daniel 9:26. Now, obviously, the Testament pretends this is the Messiah, which doesn't make any sense, though, because in verse 25, the Messiah comes after 69. How can the Messiah be cut off before he shows up? This is Ephraim, right? And if you read it, if you want to know the correct translation, we've done this now. And with what we were reading today, brother, I'm even more confident about this translation. Let me pull it up here.
Daniel 9:21.
Daniel 9:26. I want to read. Daniel 9:26. And after 62 jubilees, Ephraim will be cut off and have nothing, and the people of Edom shall destroy them, but his end will come speedily like a flood. Until the end of the war, desolations are decreed.
Read that again, please.
Verse 26, and after 62 jubilees, Ephraim will be cut off and have nothing, and the people of Edom shall destroy them, but his end will come speedily like a flood. Until the end of the war, desolations are decreed.
Shouldn't that be Israel after 3,100 years?
Um, yeah, well, so that's the thing. The question is, did all of Israel get taken into the horror of great darkness,
Not
or
that.
is it Ephraim?
No,
Because to me, that's who it's referring to, the person who's being stomped out by the fourth beast. Daniel 7:19. Let's read Daniel 7:19 real quick. Daniel 7:19. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass, which devoured, broke in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And NET says, and trampled anything that was left.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we get too off track, what we were trying to say about this. So now we've established 400 years, right? 8 jubilees. We obviously see this tie to Daniel 9:26. But if you take 400 years and you times it by 360 days, you get 144,000. So I want you to think about what these Edomites have done in Revelation. All these Israelites trying to understand the 144,000, but it's mocking the horror of great darkness, the length of the horror of great darkness.
And what does Daniel call it?
I'm sorry, brother, you went out there. Your microphone.
What does Daniel call it?
It might be upside down. Is your iPad upside down again?
What does Daniel call it?
Which one?
I was saying, what does Daniel refer to the vision? What does he refer to?
Oh, division of the evening and the morning.
Evening and the morning. And he's saying the vision did what to him?
Well, so we should look. So let's see what the vision does to both of these prophets. So first, actually, let's look at 3 prophets. Let's see 3 prophets see this vision, and let's see how they describe it. I'm going to go in order of how they see it. So first, the first prophet that sees it is Abraham. The second is Isaiah, and the third is Daniel. And so we're going to go Genesis 15, Isaiah 21, Daniel 8. So first, Genesis 15:12. And when the sun was going down, so you notice the transition here from the day to the night, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, and horror of great darkness fell upon him. NET, and great terror overwhelmed him. What is this? The NLT? No, NIV. NIV says, and a thick and dreadful darkness came over him. Okay. Now let's go to Isaiah chapter 21.
What's he seeing? What's Abraham?
Abraham. So then the next verse, right? So if you see, so let's continue. Let's read one more verse. And lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. Verse 13. And he said to Abram, know of a surety that your seed will be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. So what
That's not
Abraham sees is the final 400 years of the evening vision,
right.
the
So you got
end of the evening vision, the darkest time of the night, the twilight zone, brother, as we were discussing earlier today.
the Twilight with Rod Stewart, the Twilight Zone.
The Twilight Zone. Everyone knows that old show. They're always mocking, right? You think about Twilight. We found the verse today that was talking about Twilight. Where was that?
Well, first of all, let's check all the boxes here. That this 400 years he's talking about is not Egypt, and we've already shown how the years is that it can't be Egypt because when they
math, because of math.
the math is proving that it's not the first bondage; it's the second bondage.
Yes, because there's two mathematical proofs. First is the number of years Joseph lives. By the way, they're lying, brother. Joseph did not live to 110. He must have lived to 120, which means that Joseph reigned over Egypt for 81 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've always wondered why they love the number 81 so much. And I think that's probably why.
You're talking about the builders.
The builders, yeah, they love 81.
81.
Yeah, they love 81.
You got to go to Genesis 6:3. You want to read that real quick?
Oh yeah, Genesis 6:3. Yeah.
Because I had it upside.
Genesis 6:3, and Allah said, "My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he is also is flesh." For that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years.
Okay.
So anybody who lives after 120 years in the scriptures, after this statement was made, means God, that man has tampered with the text, because God is not a man that he should lie.
Imagine that.
And think about it. Moses died at what age?
120.
So did God kill Moses, brother?
He spared him.
But hold on. The story that we're told is God killed Moses and didn't let him go into the promised land.
Yeah, you talking about his greatest prophet of all time he killed?
Yeah, he killed him and didn't let him go into the promised land as punishment. He was punishing him. He's a no half measure God. What can you say?
He spared him of all the foolishness that was coming. He said 40 years was enough for you.
Yeah, just to be clear, that's such a blessing what he did for Moses, because obviously seeing the end, knew the land would fall into, idolatry and be defiled. And so he didn't want Moses to step foot into that land. When Moses enters, it will never be defiled.
So how was it defiled? It was defiled through the priesthood. And Ezekiel chapter 8 and 9 talk about that. Son of man, I'm going to show you greater abomination.
And I think Amos chapter 9, brother, is also talking about them too.
Yeah. Ephraim.
Yeah. All right, so let's go back here real quick. We'll just go back to Isaiah.
So you established the great horror that Abraham's seeing. Now we're going to go to Isaiah and see how Isaiah says when he sees it.
Oh, real quick before I get distracted, though. So the point was Joseph lived for 71 years. Yeah. We know for a fact that there was no affliction during Joseph's life. If you take the time they were in Egypt, which we're told is 430 years, Exodus 12:40, I subtract 71, I'm already at 359. So that's one mathematical proof that proves that the first Exodus has nothing to do with Genesis 15:13 and 14. Second mathematical proof is the population growth in the beginning of Exodus. 70 people cannot experience the population growth described at the beginning of Exodus 1:7, Exodus 1:9, in 30 years. It's actually impossible. And so that's the second mathematical proof. But notice that the New Testament, though, tries to convince you that this prophecy was fulfilled with the first Exodus. And also, just for the record, just to point out, I think one of my favorite quotes is, the first step to truth is calling things by their proper names.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at that, you look at the story that the New Testament tells you, that Genesis 15, 13, and 14 have been fulfilled. It's in Acts 7. I think it's Acts 7:17. Let me pull it up.
19.
Yeah, Acts 7:17. But when the time of the promise drew nigh, which God had sworn to Abraham, the people grew and multiplied in Egypt. You see, this is a this is the toilet trying to convince you that Genesis 15, 13, and 14 were fulfilled before the first, or with the first Exodus. And why do they need to do that?
Substantiate the lie.
Well, because the Edomite Messiah shows up and grabs Isaiah 61 and reads it in the synagogue and tells everyone, this day this scripture has been fulfilled in your ear. Should we go read that real quick to see what he claimed was fulfilled?
You mean Emmanuel in Isaiah 7:14?
No, Isaiah 61. Remember, he goes in the synagogue on the Sabbath day, and he picks up the scroll and he opens it to the book of Isaiah. You know what? Let's go to Luke. Let's go to the toilet.
Yeah, I know. I was just mocking him with Isaiah 7:14 and Isaiah 53. And
Oh yeah. But so here, Isaiah 61, the spirit of Ah-Oh is upon me, because Ah-Oh has anointed me to preach good tidings to the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. Verse 2, to proclaim the acceptable year of Ah-Oh and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn. So how could JC have fulfilled these verses while the children of Israel sit in captivity today, heading into the darkest part of the night, which is Jacob's trouble? A time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation.
so this is what Abraham saw. Great horror of darkness. Now you're going to outline it in Isaiah, and we'll go finish it with.
Here it comes, Isaiah chapter 21. Verse 1, the burden of the desert of the sea, as whirlwinds in the south pass through, so it comes from the desert, from a terrible land. Verse 2, a grievous vision is declared to me. The treacherous dealer deals treacherously, and the spoiler spoils. Go up, O Elam. Besiege, O Media. All the sign thereof I have made to cease. Verse 3, therefore are my loins filled with pain. Pangs have taken hold upon me, as the pangs of a woman that travails. I was bowed down at the hearing of it. I was dismayed at the seeing of it. Verse 4, my heart painted. Fearfulness affrighted me. The night of my pleasure he has turned into fear to me. And that was the verse that they really did a terrible job with. I'm going to read that in the NET. My heart palpitates. I'm sorry, brother, go ahead.
I was going to say, let's read the 3 and 4 in the NET.
All right, backing up to 3. For this reason, my stomach churns. Cramps overwhelm me like the contractions of a woman in labor. I am disturbed by what I hear, horrified by what I see. Verse 4, my heart palpitates. I shake in fear. The twilight I desired has brought me terror. That was the verse.
Twilight Zone.
The twilight I desired has brought me terror. Think about what he's saying. I desired the sunrise, right? I desired the new day. But to get there, I had to go through the twilight, which is the final 400 years that culminates with the time of Jacob's trouble, the time of trouble such as never was. This is the same vision that Abraham and Isaiah are seeing, the same vision, and look at how they react to it.
Out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every word of Allah be confirmed.
So and notice, and here's the proof, right? Here's the proof. In verse 9 here, Babylon is destroyed. And then the watchman is asked from seer, what of the night? What remains of the night?
In verse 8.
So I'm going to back up. Let's back up and let's keep reading it. Let's stay in the NET. Verse 5. Arrange the table, lay out the carpet, eat and drink. Get up, you officers, smear oil on the shields. And so this is, I feel, them preparing Egypt to go and deal with Babylon, right? Verse 6. For this is what Ao has told me. Go post the guard. He must report what he sees. Verse 7. When he sees chariot teams of horses, riders on donkeys, riders on camels, he must be alert, very alert. Verse 8. Then the guard cries out on the watchtower, O, I stand all day long. At my post, I am stationed every night. Verse 9. Look what's coming. A charioteer, a team of horses. When questioned, he replies, Babylon has fallen. All the idols of her gods lie shattered on the ground. Why does Revelation pretend this is at the end?
It's not. It's 3,100 years.
It's not. It's 3,100 years. Now look, let's continue. Verse 10. Oh, my downtrodden people, crushed like stalks on the threshing floor. What I have heard from all, O Lord of heaven's armies, the God of Israel, I have reported to you. And then here you go, verse 11, okay? The burden of Edom. It should not say Duma. If you go to the Septuagint, it says Edom. If you go to modern translations, it says Edom. Right? None of these do, but I think what was the one that I saw? ESV said Edom, right?
Yeah.
It's Edom. And notice, how do we know it's Edom? Let's see the next part of the question. He calls to me out of Seir. Who dwells in Seir? Edom. Watchman, what of the night? Watchman, what of the night? And so we always thought that there was something wrong with this verse, right? But notice, So you think about where he is. So he's speaking at 62 Jubilees, right? He's speaking at 3100. So he's being asked what's left, right? What's left of the night? And look at his response. The morning comes, but also the twilight. If you will inquire so that you may return home.
What's returning home?
Going back to second Exodus,
Second
being a part of the second Exodus.
Yeah, second Exodus.
Or the resurrection of the righteous that, have been born again because they kept the Torah and they cleave to A'o.
All right, then you want to go to Daniel, or you want to finish this?
Well, so I think it's so powerful here. So you see the same vision. You see something coming and destroying Babylon, right? So now let's go to Daniel. If we go to Daniel chapter 8, at the beginning, you see the same vision. I'm going to start at verse 5. And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. Verse 6, and he came to the ram that had two horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran to him in the fury of his power. Verse 7, and when I saw him come close to the ram, he was moved with choler, it's rage, right, against him, and smote the ram and broke his two horns. And there was no power in that ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. And I just want to emphasize, this is what Jeremiah is seeing in verse 25. It's not 70 though here, it's 62. So I'm going to verse 25:11. And this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment, and this nation shall serve the king of Babylon 62 jubilees. Verse 12, and it shall come to pass when 62 jubilees are accomplished, that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation for their iniquity and the land of the Chaldeans, and I will make it perpetual desolations. That's Greenland. This is Greenland. But that's different from Jeremiah 29:11, which is after the end of the twilight as well. You go to Jeremiah 29:10, right? 29:10 says, for thus said after 70 jubilees be accomplished, at Babylon is added there, because it's not just at Babylon, right? That after 70 jubilees be accomplished, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you in causing you to return to this place. And now I just want to continue because these are some of the most beautiful verses, right, in all of Scripture. Verse 11, for I know the thoughts that I think toward you, said thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Verse 12, then you shall call upon me, and you shall go and pray to me, and I will listen to you. Verse 13, and you shall seek me and find me when you search for me with all your heart. Verse 14, and I will be found of you, said Ao, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places where I have driven you, said Ao, and I will bring you again into the place where I caused you to be carried away captive.
Jeremiah 20, chapter 29.
Yeah, chapter 29. We got a guest, King. Come on up. King, yeah. Anyways, while we wait for King, just to go back to Daniel. So as Daniel continues in Daniel chapter 8, right? So if you get, he gets down to the end of, he sees the goat too, right? He sees the goat. So he sees the same vision, but now notice, okay, verse 23. In the latter time of their kingdom being Esau, Edom, and it seems Kedar and the Ishmaelites, right? They intermarried. Okay. So in the latter time of Edom's kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, think about when God says to Abraham that they're not going to return. They're not now, because the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full, right? When he says that in the fourth generation they will return, right? But he says because the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full, saying it's not time for me to judge them yet, right? They haven't, their cup hasn't been filled yet. So you notice
It's not running over.
Over here, though, in verse 23, it's saying, when the transgressors have come to the full, when we near the end of the 400 years, right? A king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. This is Donald Trump, just for the record. Verse 24, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. Because remember what God said to first Pharaoh in Exodus 9:16. Just in case we're confused about who lifted up the first Pharaoh, who lifted up the second Pharaoh. Exodus chapter 9, verse 16. And in very deed, for this cause I have raised you up, for to show in you my power, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth.
This is why Trump, on the lawn of the Black House there, he said, I'm the
chosen one, and he looked up to heaven, right? Well, because he's also one of the two Edomite witnesses. And that's why they're trying to jar your faith. If you settle into the truth that Trump is the king of fierce countenance who will stand up to the Messiah that we're going to read right now, coming up in verse 25, and be broken without hand by the plagues of the Most High God, with David yielding Moses' staff and raining signs and wonders down on Edom. All right.
Verse 24.
But not by his own power, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. The holy people being destroyed during the time of Jacob's trouble. Verse 25. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. Now, just for as we've been going to multiple witnesses, the breaking of this statue without hand is first seen in Daniel chapter 2, verse 45. For so much as you saw that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and it broke in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, the gold. The great God has made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof is sure. Hallelujah. But now, so Daniel sees this whole vision, and now look at what he says in verse 26. And the vision of the evening and the morning which was told is true. Wherefore shut you up the vision, for it shall be for many days. Verse 27, and I, Daniel, fainted and was sick certain days. Afterward, I rose up and did the king's business, and I was astonished at the vision, but none understood it. Brother, why didn't anybody understand this vision?
Oh, they give many reasons. They get, the first one that comes to mind is they got Egypt the first time and the second time mixed up.
Well, forget no, but he sealed it.
Yeah,
God
that's
sealed
what
the vision. And when you go to Isaiah, when he says the book has become like a sealed book, you give it to somebody who's learned and you say, read it. And he says, I can't read this.
Exactly.
So then why does everybody assume all these Edomite pastors and preachers, these priests of Baal, have any clue what they're talking about? The book is sealed.
This is sealed.
Oh, sealed it. And he sealed it until when? So
The
what
end.
does my PTR tell you about where we are in the stream of time? If somebody
The
can
end.
explain this vision to you today, what does that tell you about where you are in the stream of time?
TikTok. Jacob's trouble's coming up. And it's not a time of 400 years. Jacob's trouble is a short time.
I thought you broke up there. You cut off. What did you say at the beginning?
I said Jacob's trouble is not 400 years. It's a short time at the
7
end.
years. 7 years. The last 7 years. I think it's the 12 parts of Second Baruch, which were in part 1, the beginning of commotions. Part 2, though, is the slaying of the great ones. That's God telling you about the Edomite witnesses. We found in Isaiah as well, Isaiah 43. God is telling you that they are going to bring their witnesses, and people are they're going to feel reinforced, and they're going to say, see, it's true. Let's go to that. Let's go there. Just want to go there real quick. Isaiah 43. Because how do you destroy many by peace? It's something that I've pondered since I realized that this was talking about Donald Trump. And obviously, he is the self-proclaimed president of peace, right? Bringing peace all over the world.
And you got to point out that Second Baruch is chapter 27.
Second Baruch, chapter 27. I think I have a PTR photo with those 12 parts. Yeah, I do. It's on there. It's also in the app too. The app has the 12 parts. But okay, so Where was I going? Isaiah 43. What was it? What was it? 8 maybe? Was it 8? Oh yeah, here we go. And you can tell he's talking about the children of Israel. Verse 8. Bring forth the blind people that have eyes, and the deaf that have ears. Verse 9. Let all the nations be gathered together. Let all the people be assembled. Who among them can declare this and show us former things? And right here, this is a this is God telling you about Revelation 11 before they wrote it. Let them bring forth their witnesses that they may be justified, or let them hear and say, it is true. But look at verse 10. But you are my witnesses, said Ao, and my servant whom I have chosen, that you may know and believe me and understand that I am he. Before me there was no God formed, neither shall there be after me. Verse 11, I, even I, am Ao, and beside me there is no Savior. I'm sorry, who is JC coming to save us?
No, that's going to be what we talked about. They're going to turn back. Isaiah 40, what was it? 42:17.
And look at verse 12. I have declared and I have saved, I have showed when there was no strange God among you. Therefore, you are my witnesses, said Ao, that I am God. And so when Trump and whoever else is going to be the second witness, my money's on BB, when they magically show back up in 3.5 years, right? Don't fall for it. God already told you what they were going to do. And that's why I think Second Baruch, the Second Baruch 27, part 2, the slaying of the great ones, is a reference to the great Edomite witnesses of Revelation 11:11.
Well, they're doing a head fake right now with, they're talking about the market starting to collapse and all that.
Don't fall for it. They're going to declare peace. 8-1, 8-8. These are on their calendar. I'm saying August 1st, August 8th. These are all dates that they love. They are going to declare peace. We know from Daniel 8:25 that the King of Fierce Countenance destroys many by peace. We know from Second Thessalonians. Oh no, First Thessalonians 5:3. Is that right? I got confused. I'm not as sharp on the toilet as I used to be. First Thessalonians 5:3. Let's see. Yeah, First Thessalonians 5:3. When they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And we also have Quran 43:89. Tell them peace, them being the Christians, soon they will know.
For sure. Peace.
I'm sorry.
Say that again.
Hey, what's up? Hey, shalom, King. But anyways, as I was saying too, think about how you say peace to somebody with your hand. What do you throw up?
You throw up the two
Two
fingers.
fingers. So imagine, let's
Sure.
imagine that they declare peace right now, right? But then look at what all these verses are saying. They're going to say peace, and then there's going to be complete chaos. So let's ponder, how do we go from peace to chaos? Well, let's say hypothetically they announce peace and then there's an assassination. of 2 witnesses.
At the same time.
Would that not cause, like, let's say, I'm just saying hypothetically, I just want us to think through this thought experiment. Because, Albert Pike's letter about the Third World War, talks about a war of some kind of savagery, right? And again, we also know from Daniel that the time of trouble like never before, right? It's never been seen before. Okay, so obviously we already have religious ideologies on all 3 sides. We have America, the Christian nation, right? We have the Disneyland Israel, right? Second Temple Judaism nation. And then we have Iran, the Muslim nation, right? And obviously we know how religious fanatics can be when it comes to believing that they are doing God's will and that God is going to show up and save them, right? The level of barbarianism that will be seen will be second to none. But now, so I just want to play out this thought experiment. Trump declares peace. He says that all of these nations, Iran included, are going to sign the Abraham Accords, and they're going to do it in Jerusalem, Disneyland, Jerusalem. The leaders go there, Trump, Bibi, and something happens, and Trump and Bibi are quote unquote assassinated. I say quote unquote because they're not dying. They're coming back in 3.5 years. They're putting on a play for you, the play of Revelation 11, to make you believe, to make you cling to that book until the end.
Imagine that.
The spider web, right? So I want you to imagine America's response if that were to happen.
Oh,
I want you to imagine Israel's response if that were to happen. And I want you to also think that in the fake state of Israel, they believe that Benjamin Netanyahu is the last prime minister before Messiah comes to save them. And remember, they already think they've been regathered. So what they think is happening right now is Gog Magog.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they think that's their theology.
Not yet.
So imagine the brutality and imagine the Israelites that are going to be put on the front line through the draft.
Oh, yeah.
Just like every one of Edom's wars, right? The Uriah the Hittite story is actually their policy with Israelites in the American army. Send them to the front.
Just for some statistics, Israelites during the Vietnam War, I think, were only 23% of the draftees, but they manned like 67% of the frontline troops in the hottest part of the battle. There was more Israelites killed than the whites, percentage-wise, of the capita the capita of the total. They're going to do the same thing again.
News. Joel 2:32. Whoever calls on the name of Allah shall be delivered.
Shall be delivered.
But that's why it's so important that you know his name. That's why when Jacob's wrestling with him, he says, "What is your name?" God says, "Why do you want to know my name? What do you need my name for? Just pray to JC. Call me Lord." He's testing him.
What was the last one? The Israelite lady that was crying out to JC 6-7 times, and they shot her 10 times.
Oh yeah. You're talking about that lady in her house.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sorrows of those who follow after false gods shall increase.
Shall increase.
It is not the devil attacking you. The book of Job is designed to make you think that this is somehow acceptable. It's not. It makes God a liar. You are untouchable if you keep the statutes, laws, and commandments. That's why the nation of Israel destroyed all of those nations that were larger and more powerful.
Large and in charge.
With way fewer people.
Laughing.
I mean, the story in Jasher when the brothers come and destroy the Amorites on their own. I mean, it's a remarkable story. of the power of the nation of Israel. And then you could see the fear, like you thinking about the story of Rahab, in which she says, we've heard.
Mm.
It's coming soon. And so, yeah, the true 144,000 is the days the nation of Israel, I think the tribe of Ephraim, has spent here in the Terror Dome, which is the United States of America, the fourth beast.
Egypt.
In Egypt, yeah. Egypt. As it was in the past, so shall it be in the end. The first Exodus was Egypt. The second Exodus is also Egypt. And it's Edom. Edom and the Ishmaelites. And remember, Hagar was an Egyptian. Hagar got an Egyptian wife for Ishmael. Ishmael's son marries into Edom's lineage.
Mm-hmm.
That's why in Isaiah chapter 21, it talks about Kedar. And you think about Psalms 83, right? They're all Confederate.
That's a good point. They're all Confederate. They're all the same. You know, that's what I was saying the other day about that guy that's pointed out that Brad Pitt's related to Obama. Obama's related to the Bushes. They're all related. They're all Confederate.
And that's why it's called the Confederate flag.
Yeah. And where were the Confederates? They were in the South. And this is where he said he's going to bring them back to Syria a second time. He's going to stage them here in the South. And they're going to go west to the true Jerusalem, Utah, Wyoming area. I was just thinking of today when I was in the sauna. I was thinking about there in Wyoming, below, right below Yellowstone, richest per capita place in the United States, Jackson Hole.
Oh, Jackson Hole. Yeah.
Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And it made me think about per capita income, per capita land, and all that, and have all the Israelites serving all the Edomites there now. And I was just thinking about what he's going to do in the end. He said, all them Edomites in Jackson Hole are going to be weeding the gardens and taking out the trash of the Israelites. I started laughing. Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Beautiful place. We went through it, but it's, it's foolishness what's happening. All those who trust in Allah will be delivered.
Mm-hmm. Just like Moses said. Just like Moses said to them. Remember, we were discussing this too. That this idea that only 2 people made it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at that verse in Deuteronomy, it was Deuteronomy chapter 4. It says, Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 3, your eyes have seen what Ah-oh did because of Baal Peor. For all the men that followed Baal Peor, Ah-oh, your God has destroyed from among you. But you that, verse 4, but you that did cleave to Ah-oh, your God, are alive, every one of you this day. I want to read it for today's Exodus. Your eyes have seen, what's going to come here. Your eyes have seen what Ah-oh did because of JC and Allah. For all the men that followed them, Ah-oh, your God has destroyed them from among you.
You'll see them no more.
As I said, Malcolm X is not coming. Martin Luther King is not coming. I'm going to rewrite I Have a Dream to what it should. If he was truly an Israelite, what he would have said.
Oh, what he would have said.
what he would have said and compare it to what he said. I want to put him side by side because his speech is such blasphemy.
And he's got, in the video, he's got the 6 bakers behind him.
Yeah, the 6 bakers. Joseph's dream of Ephraim.
Joseph's dream. He's saying this guy is done. He's cooked. We're going to hang him here right after this.
Well, at least we're going to tell the world that we hanged him, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
You never know. He could be on an island still drinking Mai Tais.
Well, he's there with Saddam and what's his name from Afghanistan?
They all die in vehicles. You notice that? In some kind of transportation. Because that's Masons. Masons are traveling men, right? Kobe dies in a helicopter. Tupac shot in a car, right? There's always something that's moving you from one place to another.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that the beginning of the movie?
Leave the World Behind. They show the brick building and the plane fly over it.
Yeah.
That's them telling you that this is our film.
Master Masons.
I'm sure everyone is aware of the Taco Bell diarrhea story, right? From some farm that starts with a T. Okay. In the Leave the World Behind, right before like the chaos really starts, he drives by a farm that's a T that starts with a T. Then he sees this Hispanic woman who's screaming at him, basically warning him, right? But he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand. They're like, that's them mocking you guys right now, right? There's people out there warning, right? Brother James and myself, and how many Israelites think we have lost our goddamn minds, right? We should be put in an insane asylum, right? And they can't understand a word that's coming out of our mouths. And then what happens right after that? The flyers drop with the Iranian writing that says "Death to America."
Okay.
And during Ayatollah Khamenei's funeral, which was on July 4th, they were chanting in the crowds, "Death, death to Trump." And they planted so many seeds about the assassination attempts.
All right, so hit on why that's what's the difference in the writing? How do you know that that's Iranian writing?
Well, so to be honest, I don't. I mean, I didn't look at it that closely. But when he says, so they're looking at the flyer, and he comes into the room, and he says, "Death to America," and they all look at him, and he says, "That says death to America. I know that from a game that I used to play." And "Death to America" is Iran's slogan.
Yeah, I was just saying that I thought it was Farsi or something like that, and
they look very similar.
Yeah, you can say that because you're Iranian.
Yes, so I can read Farsi, but I can't read Arabic. I mean, some of the letters are similar.
Yeah.
It should get very exciting here shortly. Because summer's almost over, right? And if you think about the Sweet Caroline song, spring turns to summer. So,
well, you gotta.
They have to declare peace here, in my opinion, before the summer's up.
If they don't understand where that Sweet Caroline explained to Boston what Boston does in the Builders game.
Yeah, so baseball obviously being the most Masonic of all of the ball games that are out there. But in Fenway Park, in the middle of the 8th inning, they play Sweet Caroline. And if you listen to the lyrics of Sweet Caroline, it's all about hands reaching out and touching hands, flames touching each other, right? Think about the twin flames, right? Of Christianity and Islam. and how times never seemed so good, right? But then then and then it leaves it. So, um, and then obviously, if you look in Revelation, right, they have three woes. And if you look, if you're in the middle of the eighth, you have three innings left. You have the bottom of the eighth, the top of the ninth, and the bottom of the ninth. And so I feel what they're showing is that the shaking of the hands kicks off the party. And
Peace.
they break Baruch's 12 parts. The 84, they break it, instead of breaking it into 12 parts, they break it into 3. So it's 3 parts of 28 months. And notice the 2-8 there again. And 8-8 is coming up here. So is it 8-8 where they announce the peace? The day, that's the thing, people made so many jokes that we got the day wrong. The day is not coming from the word of God, right? We know that peace, they're going to declare peace. Obviously, RO showing us some of their signatures in their own works that seem to say when they're going to declare this, right? But just remember, the sequence is peace and something that causes World War III to pop off. And our theory is it's the two witnesses of Revelation 11. The fake Edomite witnesses, for the record.
And they've already aligned the world in two halves, which is people have to understand the BRICS nations, where they took Iran and Russia and China, India. They separated the BRICS nations from the so-called NATO nations. So this is who's gonna line up for World War III. It's gonna be the BRICS, the builders, against NATO, or whatever you want to call it, but it'll basically be the U.S.
The
Or
other
they,
thing I just wanted to point out too, because while we were in Isaiah 21, there seems to be a verse that puts a 1 year lifespan on Egypt when it's finally judged. And that's Isaiah 21:16. It says, "For thus has Ao said to me, within 1 year, according to the years of a hireling, and all the glory of Kedar shall fail." And so I've been pondering, does that mean that the final plagues from the first to the last is exactly a 1 year period, 360 days? Which that means I could figure it out if we look at the calendar when we should expect the first plague to fall. So hold on, let me look at that real quick.
you're talking about the first plague to fall on Egypt, which is here.
Yeah, because I could just back up 360 days from the Exodus, right? Or the Passover, which would be the final plague, right? And then with Amos, as we discussed, the ninth plague. The ninth plague seems like it's going to be the first, second, and third days of the first month, right? So that seems to be like the ninth plague. We know the 14th, the night of the 14th is the final plague. And so now it seems like we might be able to also get the date of the first plague. But here, let me see. All praise to all. Oh, see that on the Sabbath, man. Always on the Sabbath, giving wisdom. All right, so let's see. So 1 year. 1 year. All right, so that would be 322:32 should be the first plague, or 321:32. $321.32.
You're,
Three,
and
two,
that's
one.
that's on Pharaoh's calendar.
That's on Pharaoh's calendar. March 21st, 2032. Is that the first sign and wonder of the Most High during that commences the start of the the signs and wonders that we will witness before the second Exodus?
On the
I don't know. I'm going to mark my calendar right now just in case. Let's put it in.
on the destruction of the U.S.
On the destruction of Edom, yeah, which we believe is the United States of America. America.
America, Egypt, Memphis. This is why they got all the Israelites living in Memphis. One of the reasons. The heart of Egypt.
Let's see. First plague.
Wasn't Martin Lucifer King? He was from Memphis too. Was he from Memphis, or they killed him in Memphis, allegedly?
I thought he was from Alabama.
Who?
Montgomery. Martin Lucifer King.
Martin's from Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yeah, but he was
Oh,
killed
he's
in
from
Memphis.
Atlanta.
He was killed in Memphis.
Yeah, the hotel. Like I'm in Nashville. I go to Memphis all the time, and it's a hotel that he got killed at. It's on auction.
Yeah, they say Jesse Jackson set him up. No, they really do. They really do tell that story. They say Jesse Jackson because Jesse Jackson brought him out on the balcony and like convinced him to take his bulletproof vest off or something. Yeah, Reverend Jesse Jackson, and then he coined the term African American.
African American.
And went on a crusade to make sure that every Israelite knew that they're not Israelites. They're African Americans.
They're from Africa.
They're from Africa, and you're a Christian. Still to this day, my favorite response to telling somebody they're an Israelite: "No, I'm not. I'm a Christian."
Yeah. Yeah, he said, Martin, stand a little bit more to the left.
Yeah.
They're going to take your picture. Okay, smile now, Martin.
Yeah.
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 As he nods. Yeah, that's another place.
You can see this. Have you ever seen so many people come into our room, brother? I'm telling you, the 144,000 is like, it's like the
a magnet.
It's like everyone wants to know, who are the 144,000? Who are these people?
Yeah,
Who are these people?
The 12 tribes.
Which, by the way, the giveaway there is that there's a gate for Levi.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Whoops.
But there's no gate for the Edomites, though.
Yeah, because there are no other nations. There's only the nation of Israel at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was arguing with man, these Hebrew Israelite camps, man. Really something else.
I thought there was I lost my train of thought. Oh, I thought there was no righteous strangers. You know.
Such nonsense. And I just want to point out, like, everybody who preaches that, what they're saying about the character of God.
Mm-hmm.
And they're completely ignoring all of his principles. Diverse weights are an abomination to God. One law for the homeborn and the stranger. right?
Tell,
The
yeah,
king had to write a copy of the Torah with his own hand to make sure that he didn't get confused and think he was above it. And then
ask.
look at the nation of Israel today. If God is a respecter of persons, why is the nation of Israel, the nation of kings and priests, a byword and a proverb in every place where he has scattered them? Somebody help me understand that. If God is a respecter of persons and what matters is who you are as opposed to what you're doing. And that's the thing. What is so funny because these Hebrew Israelites are, especially in the camps, right? They're in open idolatry. And they think that because they're an Israelite, somehow that makes it acceptable, and that the righteous stranger who's cleaving to the true covenant and the true promise of God and cleaving to the promise to the house of Israel, they're not going to make it. But the Israelite who openly rejects the word of God for Edom's lies, they're going to make it.
Is that called?
That'd be the day.
Isn't that called a strong
The
delusion?
strong delusion. It's the type of delusion that makes you focus your attention on Edom instead of getting up and going and standing and looking in the mirror.
Yeah, I tell them that all the time, the farmers. They said, well, what's the problem? I said, go look in the mirror. Yeah. Somebody want to come up?
And just in case people are coming in because they want to know that, again, it's the 144,000 is the 144,000 days in the second Egypt. Deuteronomy 28:68, Genesis 15:13, 400 years times 360 days. Remember, you don't count the intercalendar days, and there's 4 of them every year. And you can confirm that from the account of the flood. If you go from the 17th day of the second month to the 17th day of the seventh month, you have 2 intercalendar days. You have 331 and 631. But the scripture says that that's 150 days, which is proof that those intercalendar days aren't counted. So 360 times 400, 144,000 days in the twilight zone.
4 equals 400 years that Ephraim has been in Egypt in the U.S.
And so, yeah, one thing to think about, they think they're Judah. All the direct descendants of slaves here in America. You're not Judah. You are the priesthood. You are Ephraim. You are the same lineage as the Messiah who is coming to get you.
God.
Hallelujah.
What's up, man? How y'all feeling today, man? How y'all doing, man?
Hey,
This
Dame,
day,
how are you, man?
Oh, cool, man. I just listen in and stuff, though. Interesting always when I come in and listen. So I definitely agree that America is the promised land. And as far as the tribe thing is kind of new to me. Like far as us being Ephraim instead of Judah. But I heard y'all bring that out before. Like, could you kind of like tell me about where the mix up come, like the confusion? It seemed like it was done on purpose to kind of throw people off. But is it some type of scripture that kind of show that transformation or that mix up of Judah from Ephraim or something like that?
yeah,
Yeah. Well, the first thing I think we should start with, right, is remember, how did your people become touchable? The
Touchable.
way that they were touchable, same idea as Balak and Balaam, right? How can we
Okay.
deal with this nation? The way we deal with them is get them to break away from the covenant that God made with them that
Right.
gives them this protective force field, right?
Right.
And so if you look in Hebrews, right? Hebrews chapter 7, Paul says it so beautifully. He
Mhm.
says it openly. right? Let's go to Hebrews chapter 7. So Hebrews chapter 7 tells you the importance of convincing you that the
Mm.
priesthood has changed.
That's in Hebrews chapter 7. Hold on, I'm gonna go there real quick. That's crazy.
Yeah, so if we go to chapter 7, I'm going to start at verse 11, okay?
Okay.
Paul says, if therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law, what further need was there that another priest should arise? It's a great question. If perfection is found in the Torah,
Right.
why do we need something new? That's what Paul says right there.
Mm.
But then look at what he says, verse 12. But for the priesthood being changed, there is made necessity a change also of the law.
Mm.
The law is not relevant anymore. We can do whatever we want. Party time.
Man, that's crazy, man.
Okay, now with Levi, though, right? The thing
Mhm.
about Levi is the issues with the tribe of Levi, you can see them in a couple of places. First, when God sends the spies,
Mm.
his command is send a spy from every tribe.
Mm.
If Levi is a tribe, there should be a spy sent from Levi. There's no spy sent from Levi.
Mm.
But Ephraim has a spy and Manasseh has a spy.
Okay.
Okay. Then look at when the children of Israel are numbered. Levi
Mm.
is not numbered.
Mm.
When they
Man.
give the inheritance, Levi is not given any land.
Mm. Right. I
And
heard people say that he wasn't given land because the priest was supposed to like basically
there,
dwell with all tribes or something like that. Like,
okay, okay, but sure. But so if you think about that, though, that's true because they have the cities, right? I think it's the 36 cities, right? Okay.
okay.
But think about that. Those are the priests that are in active service.
Cities
The
of
Oh.
reason that they're present in all of the tribe locations is to be the judge, right?
Right.
When there's controversies, they don't have to get up and come all the way to Jerusalem. They have a local priest, right? A
Right.
local Ephraimite, Ephratite that can resolve it, right? But notice these people are still in the service of God, right?
Right.
Okay, so here's my question to you. What happens to all the priests, all the people of the tribe of the priesthood who either don't serve or have completed their service? Where do they live?
they're homeless.
They're homeless?
Homeless.
Mm. Okay. I don't know, bro. I never asked
Okay,
that
so,
question.
so something to think about. But then the best example to me is if you read the last chapter of Exodus
Mm.
and jump the entire book of Leviticus and read Numbers chapter 1, it's a perfect continuous narrative. And then you have Jeremiah 7:22, which says, I never commanded Moses and Aaron about sacrifice when I brought them out of Egypt.
Mm.
And the whole book of Leviticus is about sacrifice and burnt offerings.
And you have
Dang.
40 verse 6.
And so the reason that they did that is to make the Most High God like their gods, a
Mm.
God that's appeased with blood. But God is not appeased with blood.
Right.
He
Right.
wants
Yeah.
nothing to do with it.
So okay. Okay. So where is the real God in the Bible at? Because I definitely believe, like in a Gnostic type of view, where that the God of the Bible is probably the demiurge or some other name that he accept blood offerings and stuff like that. But in the Bible, it do say God don't accept uh blood burnt offerings and stuff like sacrifices or something like that, like containing blood. I could be wrong or misquoting it, but it seemed like it's two set of instructions, like far as from God.
Well, I think what you're seeing there is them corrupting God's word and trying to make him like their God. And so there you see a contradiction. You see something's off, right?
Right.
But yeah, I think it comes back to the whole point, and that's the thing. Like, without these deceptions, they can't convince you that JC came to die for your sins.
Right.
If God isn't appeased with blood, right?
Right.
If you know that God doesn't accept blood sacrifice, how hard do you laugh when they tell you the story of JC?
Right. Right. Yeah. Because it's basically a human sacrifice.
Makes
Right.
makes no sense. God doesn't
Yeah.
accept blood sacrifice. What are you talking
Right.
about? And then a
Right.
blood sacrifice of a human? Why would he
Right.
do that?
Mm.
But notice, because of the book of Leviticus, because of the Passover sacrifice, which again, even the Passover sacrifice contradicts what Jeremiah 7:22 says.
Oh,
He never told Moses and Aaron to do sacrifice coming out of Egypt. The Passover's the night before they come out.
damn, man. That's just crazy just hearing that because I know it's in the Bible and stuff, though. It just, man, like
It's just
people.
corrupted. They corrupted
Yeah.
the text. And God allowed them to do it because he blinded the children of Israel. He put them to sleep. He put them
Mm.
in a spirit of deep sleep.
And then let's go. The big one is because we know that Dao is always, he's from the tribe of Judah. He lived in Judah. He reigned in Judah. Everything reigned in Judah. But what happens when his father was called Jesse, the Ephrathite? What
Hmm?
happened?
Jesse the Ephrathite.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you go to, so look at this. If you go to First Samuel 17:12.
this ought to be the kill shot here. But
And we'll read the other one too, where even Samuel has the same lineage.
You
First
said first.
Samuel 17:12. Now David was the son of that Ephrathite. I'm sorry,
Damn.
who was he the son of?
That's. I mean, well, hold on. I mean, that's crazy. I never. I mean, because I always hear about this Judah thing, though. This is. It says now they was the son of that Ephraimite or Ephrathite of Bethlehem,
Well,
Judah.
so that's
Okay,
where
it
he
got Judah
lived.
right
He lived in Bethlehem, Judah. And so notice, if you go to
oh,
Judges, let's go to Judges 17:7, right? So you can
well,
see
let
that
let
somebody can.
let's finish with 17:12. Go ahead.
there. Okay.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay. It says now David was the son of that Ephrathite of Bethlehem, Judah, whose name was Jesse, and he had 8 sons. Oh man, and the man went among men from an old man in the days of Saul.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry about that. I already put up that one verse. Okay.
Interesting with 8 sons too. You think about, it's the
Call my attention.
Dao's.
What's these sons? It's just crazy. Okay. Okay, I'm about to okay. Next few verses.
Dao's reign starts on day 8. If you think about that,
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
beginning
this
of
is
day 8.
And then,
this stuff here. Okay, it says, and the 3 eldest sons of Jesse went and followed Saul to the battle. And the names of his 3 sons that went to battle were Eliab, the firstborn, and next unto him, Abin-Odab, and the third, Shama,
mm-hmm.
Shama-O or something. I'm sorry, Shamo. And then, okay, and David was the youngest, and the 3 eldest followed Saul. But David went and returned from Saul to feed his father's sheep at Bethlehem. And the Philistine drew near morning and evening and presented himself 40 days. Jesse said to David his son, Jesse said to David, wow, said, dang. And Jesse said unto David his son, take now for thy brethren on ephah of this parched corn, and these 10 loaves, and run to the camp to thy brethren, and carry these 10 cheeses. I'm sorry. Carry these 10 cheeses unto the capital of their 1,000, and look how thy brethren fare, and take their pledge. Yeah, that's a lot. I'm trying to. It's my first time reading this, so I'm just, you know what I mean. My bad. You want me to keep
Oh,
reading?
that's okay. No, well, I think we made our point
Okay.
that David is the son of Jesse. He's
Yeah.
he's the eighth son, which is the youngest son. These are the things that you pointed out, and he's from he's his father is what? Jesse the Ephrathite from
Appetite. Yep.
Bethlehem, Judah. So David is from Bethlehem, Judah. He's an Ephrathite, and he's the son of David, son of Jesse, the eighth son, the youngest.
Damn. I just never heard this before. That's. I mean, I when I hear like stuff for the first time, I never reject it. The fact that I never heard it before, it always lean me to like this is more the truth, because I've never heard nobody say this before. Like far as David son that Ephraimite, you know, but yeah, that's I never heard that before though. But yeah, I
Yeah, so
appreciate.
when we first started to ponder it, we thought he was from Levi too. Our point was he has to be a priest, right?
Right,
He does
right.
things that only priests are allowed to do, and he
Name
doesn't get in trouble,
name
right?
him. Name him.
He wears an ephod, right? He does sacrifices, well, we believe offerings, because God doesn't accept sacrifices. So he presented offerings like bread offerings and
Oh,
incense and that stuff. He was allowed to do that. He blesses in the name of God. He builds the altar. He builds the temple. God's fire comes down on his altar. He's a musician. Only the priests are allowed to be musicians. He covers
mm,
his head while mourning. The priests are supposed to cover their heads while mourning. And then God gives him the kingdom of Israel forever by a covenant of salt. The covenant of salt is with the priesthood, right? So we were focused on he has to be from Levi. And then
right.
we realized Levi's made up. And then I just want to leave you with this too, because if you go to
Damn.
First Samuel chapter 1, verse 1, Samuel, who also wears an ephod, by the way. Actually, I want to go, if we go to um, if we go to chapter, First Samuel chapter 2, verse 28, notice what God says here. And did I choose him out of all the tribes of Israel to be my priest, to offer upon my altar, to burn incense, to wear an ephod before me.
Mm,
So if you're wearing an ephod, you must be from the priesthood. David
right.
wears the ephod and Samuel wears the ephod. So now let's back up to First Samuel chapter 1, verse 1, and let's read where Samuel's from. Now there was a certain man of Ramazamphoim of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Eliakah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, and Ephratite.
Damn.
So you notice
Mm, mm,
it's Ephraim.
right.
And then think
Damn.
about it. Jacob sets Ephraim above Manasseh.
Okay. Yeah, I don't get that part.
Why? Yeah, I didn't get it for a long time either. But it's because the Messiah's lineage is Ephraim.
Mm,
Everyone bows to Ephraim
that's crazy.
because Ephraim's the first priesthood, and the Messiah comes from the priesthood that failed. Manasseh's
Perfect.
the second priesthood.
Okay. Okay.
Manasseh will serve in the priesthood when the children of Israel are regathered.
Right. Man. Yeah, that's a lot though. The first thing that came in my mind when you saying that is about it's probably silly, but like Cain and Abel. Like I know Cain offered up some, I think some vegetables or something. Then I think Abel offered up a lamb. Like, but it seemed like he killed it. Like it seemed like the Most High. accepted that blood. Well, I don't think that's the real Most High. If it just seemed kind of odd that he wouldn't. I heard different stories why he didn't accept his fruit or his offering, or but I'm just understanding that it's a difference between offering and sacrifice, because a lot of people I hear they say like burning incense is wicked and stuff like that, but they don't say that like sacrifice is wicked though. That's the one thing that I kind of notice when I
Well,
hear
so
people's presentations.
and so I think there's one thing you should really ponder because it's something that we pondered too, right? Because there's definitely offerings, right? There's bread offerings, right? And there's clearly Israelites bringing animals to the feasts of God, right?
Hmm. Okay.
But instead of viewing them as a sacrifice, right? What if it's like we're having a huge party
Mm. Okay.
in for God? Like you think about when Aaron tells Pharaoh, "Let us go into the wilderness."
Right.
We can't worship our God here. The way we worship our God is detestable to the Egyptians.
Right. Okay.
But see that's a giveaway because the Egyptians gods are blood sacrifice, right?
Okay. Right. So you said the Egyptians' blood. Okay. Right. Right. Okay.
So
Okay.
if the Egyptians are blood sacrifice and Israel's blood sacrifice, why would the Egyptians find it detestable that Israel does the same thing they do?
Right. Right.
It seems
Right.
to indicate that they did something different, right?
Right.
And the Egyptians found it detestable. Maybe what was detestable was instead of just wasting their animals and burning them to false gods, they get to go throw a huge party barbecue.
Right. Okay. Mm. So it really wasn't nothing wrong with them eating animals, or is that what you're saying, or just something wrong with them sacrificing them to gods or something? Like, I mean,
There's nothing wrong with eating. Something wrong with eating the blood, right? But I'm saying
okay,
this idea of like the burnt offering. The
right.
burnt offering, nobody like a lot of the other sacrifices that you read about,
Huh?
the priests are eating it,
Oh, okay, okay,
right? So it's not being wasted, right?
right,
It's so like
right,
it's an offering like to hey, this is for the priests, right?
right, right.
But the burnt offerings, they're just burning it completely and wasting it.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay, okay. I see exactly what you're saying now and stuff though. Mm, man, yeah, that's pretty deep though, man. So it just seemed like it's meant to trick a lot of people, man, because it's like that's a mystery that you solving with all that, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Proverbs
yeah,
25:2, man. Proverbs 25:2. The glory of all to conceal his word, but the honor of kings is to search it out.
Can you say
Hallelujah.
that verse again? Can you say that verse again?
Proverbs 25:2.
Okay.
The Queen James hides it because they say it says it's the glory of God to conceal a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. If you look at the word, it's debar, and
All right.
debar is word, and
Word.
matter. They use matter then at the end of the verse, but if you look, it's debar. It's talking about the same thing. It's talking about His word.
Mm.
This is the final exam, brother. Think about it. If
Mm.
He's going to give you eternal life, He's just
Right.
going to give it out, or there's going to be a final exam.
Now it's gonna be a final exam.
There's
It's
going to
gonna
be a
be
final exam.
some separation. It's gonna be some separation. So can no fake people get in like that? You know what I'm saying? So
It-
it's like you gotta study and prove yourself with wisdom and knowledge, man. That's what it seems like. What I'm learning, and it seems like a lot of people say they gonna get an A on this test. They already looking to the kingdom now. Some people say they got the glorified bodies, they got the Holy Spirit, they got, you know what I'm saying, a bunch of stuff going on.
they got
But
an F,
when it comes
bro,
to
is
that
what
witness,
they got.
right, right, yeah, I definitely agree.
Well, if you
Like that effort fronting.
Final exam. They are failing the final exam.
Exactly,
well you
exactly.
you got to think about all these nothing by chance, right? Like these Hansel and Gretel, you know, that they leave a breadcrumb trail and they're
Right.
fighting the big bad wolf. So
Mm,
what Al was doing, he's leaving a breadcrumb trail of all these little nuggets that he's leaving there. It says, wait a second, you know, everyone says David's from the tribe of Judah. What's wrong with you? And then it says, oh, David's daddy was an Ephrathite. And we know that the lineage of the family is passed through the male, not the female.
Okay.
So
Okay.
how can this be? He's leaving these, to search the matter out. So we named 3 high priests or 2 high priests that are Ephratites, and David in 1 Samuel chapter 6, and what is it, First Chronicles 21, that are mimic each other. But David this is when he's bringing the ark back to Jerusalem, and he's performing all of these. When we've done this before, we've broken down 1 Samuel 6 and 1 Chronicles 21, and we see where David was performing all what the high priest or what the priesthood would form. You got to remember that if you weren't a priest, you weren't allowed in the temple. Anybody went in the temple, they got struck down.
Because I heard people say something about David eating some showbread or something like that in the temple. He was wrong or something like that. They were saying he wasn't supposed to do that or something like that,
Well,
though. I don't
No,
know.
no, no. JC says that. JC
JC
JC.
says
says
Oh,
that.
that in Matthew 12:4,
oh,
casting
damn.
false aspersions on the men. Absolutely.
Oh, wow. That's
No,
even more crazy,
David
man.
was allowed to do it because he was a priest.
Right, right.
All right, brother. Let's go. Take him.
This is
Take him
crazy,
to where
man.
it says Dao's kids were
Well, one thing I
priests.
just want to point out when I think when you're talking about these breadcrumbs. So, like, when we were going down this journey of David being from Levi, right? Because of all the priesthood things, right? The breadcrumb that made us realize it can't be Levi is Joseph's second dream, Genesis 37:9. Jacob and Rachel bow to Joseph. Rachel is dead before Joseph comes to power in Egypt, right? So that means that's foreshadowing when the ancestors are resurrected, their knee bends to Joseph.
Right, okay.
But from the story we know, the only person who the ancestors are going to bend the knee to is the Messiah. And that's what put us on starting to go down. Something's wrong with Levi. But yeah, you want to talk about, so I think it says chief rulers in the Queen James.
Yeah.
But let me find it. Chief rulers. Yeah, here you go. 2 Samuel 8:18. You're going to love this one, Dame. And Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, was over both the Cherethites and the Pelethites. And David's sons were the priests. I'm sorry, what were David's sons?
Mine say chief rulers, but you said
The
priests.
Queen James, but go to the other translations. It's priests.
Okay. Damn.
They're the priests.
That's crazy. I mean, only thing I can really get from this, because I know a lot of people real good when they know the Bible, they study good. It's like people gotta be not honest and skipping over this or something, because I know people done read this who hold the opposite opinion about David and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know they see this stuff though, so that just it just let me know that people really wicked on purpose though. I also think people were just stupid, but now I kind of see that it's a pattern.
I wouldn't say they're wicked. So this is what I would say.
Okay.
What's happening to them is God brought them the truth and they rejected it.
They rejected it, so he blinded them.
And so he
Okay.
blinds you.
Okay.
It's a promise he makes in Isaiah 66:4. Like, if I bring you the truth and you don't heed it, I'm going to put your mind in a prison. Dame, I put a link to a blog post on this topic you might enjoy about Ephraim being the priesthood.
Okay. This link at the top right here. Okay, I'm gonna tap it. Damn, this is crazy, man.
So that, remember, Dame, we talk about all these burning bush moments. When Moshe, he saw the burning bush, he didn't walk away from it. He didn't run. He said, let me turn unto it and examine this.
Right.
So what our Father is saying is, when you see a burning bush or a contradiction in the word, don't brush it off. You got to start studying it, because these are the breadcrumb trails that he's leaving, where the world is trampling all over all of them.
Mm. Yeah, that's crazy. I saved it. I started so I can go back and read it and stuff. So yeah, this beautiful, man. Once again, man, every time I come here, I gotta congratulate y'all for bringing up the Most High. Y'all stay humble. Say it's not us, it's Ayo. But I feel like y'all part of that, and he using y'all vessels. So to me, it's the same light that I see. You know what I'm saying? Like in human form, to be able to present truth that seem like it's getting covered up by a lot of people. But you said from blindness and stuff like that. So is it salvation? Do the Bible say like what happened to these people? Like do some of them come back from that, or are they pretty much set for destruction, like from they choices and refusing to hear
Well,
God's
so it's
authority?
interesting. I think the use of the word stupor gives them hope because
Okay.
unlike a coma, you can be shaken out of a stupor.
Right. Okay.
It
Okay.
requires a very um
Miracle.
strong jarring, right?
Mhm.
But you can come out of a stupor. And that's why I think they're going to experience the time of Jacob's trouble, because it's that jarring that will wake a lot of them up.
Okay. Okay, I see what you're saying.
And
Usually, it's they come through trauma or something traumatic or something that shake they core belief so much where they can't go back again. You know what I'm saying? It seems like it'd be something like cataclysmic to their reality, though. You know what I'm saying? As far as their truth or maybe loss of people they care about or something like that. But usually, them type of things jar people consciousness awake. You know what I'm saying? When they face with like a traumatic situation where everything they know is it's been proven wrong, and they just sit and look at themselves in the mirror and just asking themselves questions out loud. Maybe. So yeah, hopefully they can bounce back from it though. But I see it's like this whole world seems to be under a great delusion. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think that these most people going is really trying to wake up because it's benefiting them like to keep up the cover that they provide, like far as like finances, cars, houses, and then you got people status with humans and stuff like that. So I feel like a lot of people gonna uphold that because I don't think they fear like wrath of the Most High and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
well, this is where peace, and then sudden destruction falls. But you know how many? Here's one of the keys, Dame, is you got to be able to turn on a dime when you're wrong.
Mm,
Are you going to make a U-turn? I'm a type of person. If I'm going the wrong way and I can cut across the median, I'm cutting across. I'm not.
right,
I don't go down 25 exits and then contemplate turning around.
right, 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 right.
But
Exactly.
you gotta admit you're wrong. And you know how many times that
Mm,
you can go back and listen to all these are all recorded. If you listen to the first ones and where we started, you
right.
know, we how many times we said we're wrong. Okay, we were wrong about David being a Levite, because a Levite, you you just don't get the whole picture, and he doesn't give you the whole thing at one time. You got to
Right,
work for it, and when you got to
right.
work for it, you got to study your way through it. But when you
Mm,
see these burning bushes, do not turn away from a burning bush. Don't throw it under the bus and explain. You know what you get is you get all these churchtons out there, that I call them,
mm,
instead of
right.
Christians, churchtons, and they're what they want to do is explain everything away, like
Right,
Isaiah 7:14. They don't want to. What you got to do is book, chapter, verse. You got to explain it with the Bible, not what you think.
right, right,
And they
right.
want to throw all this trash at you and just say, well, this is, the King James is perfect because of this, or this. Well, it doesn't say that.
Right, right, right.
It
Yeah,
does tell us that he's going to test us. And that's Deuteronomy chapter 13, 1-3. I'm going to test you to see if you love me with all your heart, mind, and soul.
right. Yeah, that's beautiful though. So I see you brothers truly practicing repentance though. When you change your mind, because a lot of people, like I said before, they get stuck in that mindset. And like you said, they would go like 10, 30, 50 extra miles before they decide to turn around. Or you can just cut across the freeway or something. So I definitely see that's part of growing when a person can repent and admit they was wrong. But I see a lot of people when they talk about the Bible and stuff, they refuse to admit that they wrong. Like they done figure this whole thing out though. So I
They
think
think
that's like,
they arrived at the truth, and that's it. When you think that, it's over. Even
mm-hmm, right.
look at my two pictures in my PTR. The current one, day and night. The first one next to it. The first one next to it is wrong. The morning and evening was wrong. I had changed the verse. I said, "Oh, it should be the morning and the evening." It's wrong. It's the evening and the morning.
Okay.
And then we were wrong about Babylon and Egypt, right?
Right.
And so yeah, no, it's been, and that's the thing, like and I also feel like that's the one thing that we've noticed. We've seen people who have come a long way in terms of their understanding, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you still see that they made the same mistake at some point where they told themselves, "I made it," and that's
Right.
it, and it's
Right.
over for them. And God really puts your mind in a prison, and you're not coming out of it. Like there's this guy,
Mm.
the ravenous bird. The ravenous bird has a lot of knowledge, but at some point he went crazy and he thinks he's the ravenous bird.
Pride
Mm.
took over.
Pride. But he inserted himself into the text.
Mm.
Right? And so he's off the deep end, right?
Pride is the most dangerous thing that can happen. And I watched a thing last night where what's that hireling's name out there in Texas? The real wicked one looks like, you can just see Lucifer in his eyes.
The motivational speaker?
Yeah, no, what's his name with the in Texas? Geez Louise.
The white guy. He's a white guy.
Yeah, Benny. He's with Benny Hinn and all that.
I know who you're talking about. I just can't remember his name right now.
Flies
You know, square head.
Yeah, Squarehead.
Okay, yeah, because I seen this dude on TV last night. He looked just like the dude. His eyes just look evil and stuff. I don't know who he was though, but he be preaching on like late night shows, like 3 and 4 in the morning and stuff.
Kenneth
Oh,
Copeland.
I think you're talking about Kenneth Copeland. Yeah, you're talking about Kenneth Copeland. He's talking about somebody else, but Kenneth Copeland definitely has a square head.
I'm like, this dude, oh my goodness, like, oh, you can't make this stuff up though, man.
Yeah, well, Kenneth Copeland is what's his name. The other hireling was pointing out that Kenneth Copeland, he says where he, that the Most High said he's going to live for 120 years, and he says, well, let's go look at him today after he made this, and he said it 3 times, and you look at him, and this guy is ready for a wheelchair right now.
How old is he? Joel Osteen. You're talking about Joel Osteen, brother.
No. I'm talking about.
Oh, no?
Yeah, no, Kenneth Copeland.
Oh, you were talking about Kenneth Copeland?
Yeah, I'm talking about Kenneth Copeland.
Oh, okay. So he was the right guy.
Yeah, he said the Most High is going to show, told him he's going to live for 120 years, preaching this gospel.
No, I meant the Texas guy that you were talking about. That's also Kenneth Copeland?
Yeah, Copeland is from Texas too.
Interesting.
He's from the Dallas area.
Yeah, he's on that. He has a TV channel.
Oh yeah.
Daystar, I think it's called, right? Daystar.
Yeah, that's the name I was saying about Daystar.
Oh, man, Daystar. Like you watch Daystar, you want to talk about delusion. Like people watch that and they think like what these people are saying is the truth, and then they send them their money.
Well, this is the delusion that Aho said he's going to send. Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, all these religions, 40,000 religions around the earth, are created by Aho. He says, you want to serve man? I'm going to give you your choice. I mean, you think about it. How many dog houses I've been in my life, and you go into every dog house, and they're all preaching a different thing. Similarities, but they got their own little twist of what the word is saying. And they don't want to go verse by verse. And if they do, they're pulling it out of context. There's content and context. But again, this thing is just out of control.
Breaking news. King of Fierce Countenance announces agreement to disarm Hamas.
You said the king of who?
Donald Trump.
Fierce Countenance.
Because he destroys many by peace. He just announced that he's disarming Hamas. Look at that. More peace, guys. More peace.
Okay. Yeah, I don't trust them dudes.
So don't sell the market short right now. because they're driving it down. When peace comes, it's going to go take a rocket side, and when it takes that, then sell it short.
Mm, man, sound like it's tied to the stock market or something. Like I'm saying.
Well, it is the whole thing. It's all together, Dame.
That's
It's
crazy, man. Oh my goodness. I'm seeing the pattern. That's why I laugh and I say that because it seems like when there's something going on in the world, it seems like the stock market like kind of go along with it or something. Like I don't know, I've been trying to like I don't pay a lot of attention to news, you know what I'm saying? But I do see a lot of influences that they have like over like pretty much the world, like you know. So I feel like it's important to kind of mock patterns or at least copy them or know about them, see the correlation in them and stuff though. But it seemed like it's a season. It seemed like they're going on a playbook. You know what I'm saying? So that's
all
the kind of thing.
they're definitely got a playbook, and they definitely run the world because he's the master architect, and he gave them the blueprints, and he gave them the specifications, and they're the builders, and they're the carry.
Right. So let me ask y'all a question real quick. So is it okay to take these people out? Like you know what I'm saying? Like
No,
do like you said no?
no, you don't want to. You really, let's say this way, their end is coming. They're already taken out. They're
Right.
already been destroyed. It's getting real close.
Right.
But he's going to turn. You're going to see all these Edomites in the end in Jerusalem, and they're
Hmm.
going to be woodcutters, water carriers. They're going to be the peasants. These great men of the earth are going to be workers for the Israelites in the true Jerusalem. This,
Okay. I see what
this is what's coming. Dame, you're going to sit out there and you're going to say, hey, Trump, you missed some weeds out there. Don't do that again. I'm going to come here on my stick and I'm going to beat you.
you're saying. Hey, that dude got a nice twist to it though. Not that I'm with like human servitude, but they just need to listen though, man. Like I ain't gonna lie about that part though. Like for the how long this stuff been going on, the lies, the
But see,
deception.
that I disagree with that because you think about Abraham, like you think about how Eleazar was treated in his house, right?
Mhm.
Eleazar was his servant,
Oh, okay, okay.
So I don't think I think something tells me that the ones that become the servants are like the borderline cases. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I don't see wicked ones becoming servants.
Well,
Why?
um,
Why
The
would you?
Bible talk
How
about
could you
people being
trust them
kingdom.
to be?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. You can't trust. I mean, but it seemed like the Bible talk about like a bunch of people being destroyed too, though. So like you said, I don't think the evil people will be working. I think some people need to be destroyed though. That's just
Yeah,
my
no. If you
personal
look at
opinion.
history, there's people that definitely need to be destroyed. Absolutely. One,
Right,
one. If God is a God of justice, if God is a
right.
God of equity, there's
Hmm.
receipts that need to be repaid. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying though. That's all I'm saying though. So I be feeling like, well, if we soldiers in the Most High Army, I feel like it's our job. Well, not everybody's job. I don't think everybody's a soldier in the Army of the Most High, but for those selected few, I'm talking about not like physically harming people, but I'm just saying through the power of prayer, through the power that the Most High has blessed us with to kind of handle the situation or just through prayer. Like that's all I'm talking about. Like tearing down strongholds because I definitely believe in like spiritual warfare. You know what I'm saying and stuff like that. Warring in the spirit against it says something like we wrestle against uh flesh and not we don't wrestle against flesh and blood but principality. That might be in the New Testament though. I ain't really sure, but I
you
still
are.
take huh.
Well, I'll
Yes.
tell you this. I'll give you an example. I was watching the home run derby with my boys. Okay,
Okay.
and it was the final was Edomite against an Israelite, and the Edomite was at home. Okay,
Right.
and he goes first, and he gets 11 home runs, and then
Damn.
the Israelite goes, and Dame, they're booing this man when he hits home runs. They're cheering when he gets outs. Okay, my youngest son, he's down. He's down like 11-4. He has like a handful of outs left. Okay. My
Right.
youngest son turns towards Jerusalem, stretches his hands out, and prays for the Israelite to win.
Mm.
Dame, he hit 6 home runs in a row and won 12-11.
Woo! That just gave me
It
chills,
was
bro. That's what I'm
craziest thing I've ever seen. It was
saying.
the craziest thing I ever seen.
Oh my goodness. That's what I'm talking about, though, bro. Like I'm talking about the Most High gave me power to do that. I mean, I'm feeling that though. That gave me chills when you said that, bro. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
lie.
But that's the thing. I think for us right now, the most powerful thing is just being a witness of what's coming and what his word actually says. Because
Right.
there'll be a time when the nation is regathered and the army will be created. And you're right, that army is going to wreak havoc on people, right?
Right.
But we got to wait until that time comes, right? We wait for all fights the battle until then, right? When he brings Israel out of Egypt, right? They're going to be in battle formation, right?
Right.
Let's go to Exodus chapter 14 and read verse 13 and 14.
You said 14, 13 through 14?
Yeah, chapter 14 and then
Okay.
verse 13 and 14.
Okay. It's this book of Exodus 14 and 13. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will shew to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Yeah, I like that verse.
There you go.
And
I like
so,
that.
and notice this is what he's referring to in Deuteronomy 28:68, when he says, you're going to go back to the place that I told you you wouldn't see again.
Could you say that verse again for me? Deuteronomy.
Right here, Deuteronomy 28:68, the curse of back to Egypt, right? Look at what
Okay.
it says. If you read Deuteronomy 28:68, it says, and all
I can read it real
will,
quick.
oh, go ahead.
Okay, it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spoke unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
And you notice the issues with the Queen James translation, right? It's nonsense. They just said you're going to be sold to your enemies. No one's going to buy you. No one's going to save you. No one's going to redeem you. You're going to sit there until God comes to gather you, right? But notice what I'm talking about is where it says, by the way whereof I spoke to you, you will see it no more again.
Mm-hmm.
So God said in Exodus 14:13 that you just read, you are not going to see the Egyptians ever again, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Right
But the
here.
problem, they didn't do what God said. If they had listened to God, right, and
Mm-hmm.
kept the covenant, they would have never seen the Egyptians again, right?
Okay, I see what you're saying. So they brought
But
some
they
type of.
didn't. So this is why he says, you're going back there, even though I told you you would never see them again because you didn't listen to me.
Mm,
So you're going to learn the hard way. You're going to become an example for all of the world that
mm,
my words are true. When I say
mm.
blessings and curses, I mean it. When I
Right,
say life and death, I mean it.
right, right.
And notice,
Mm,
look at what's happened to your people. It's a like we were talking about it. I don't know if you were here about how all of the prophets who saw the vision of what would befall God's people at the end was completely horrified by it.
mm,
Abraham, Isaiah, and Daniel, they are completely floored by the vision of what comes upon the nation of Israel.
mm,
And you think about what happened here in America to your people, the
right.
things that they did to your people, the things that
Yeah,
they still do today to your people.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't like that stuff, bro. That's why I feel
Right?
like we supposed to be taking them out with prayer and stuff,
Nah,
man.
you just listen. I'm telling you, Dame, when you realize you're untouchable if you keep his way, who
Hmm.
cares what they're doing? Like Isaiah 54:17, no weapon formed against you shall prosper.
Right,
10,000 are going to fall on this side, 10,000 are going to fall on that side, but it's not going to
right,
come anywhere near you.
right. I mean, I understand that, but my point is, it's like not that like I walk around mad and angry, but I feel like a part of me got like this righteous anger that just hate these people and how they doing. But it's not personal. I don't see no face. I'm just talking about energy, like the spirit. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, no, I agree with you. Because that's what I always say. Like, listen, obviously, God allowed it, right? But
right,
it takes a special wicked person to execute it.
right, right.
And so I agree with you. I think, and you see it repeatedly with them in their mentality, in so many aspects of life, right?
They just so
It's
disrespectful.
truly appalling. Yeah.
Like, yeah, my spirit don't like it. Like it, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like it get angry. Like I mean, I could turn it off and on, but it's like it don't be nothing that stay on 24 hours a day, and it's not even personal because when I see hatred and death, I don't see no people. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't pointed at no individual person. It's just to the fact that these people is mad disrespectful. These people hate God, and then they try to challenge and attack people with truth. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I mean that's just my personal opinion though, but I understand what you're saying about the verses and stuff like that. Sure, and it just when you said that about you watching the home run derby with your sons and stuff, that to me that's like a burning bush that's our responsibility, like far as to like not so much as wish they downfall, but be alert and active in the spirit, like you know what I'm saying, by not so much as yelling and shouting at people, but addressing it in the spirit. So it,
Psalms and how David
Psalms.
prays, right? For God to wake up and deal with his enemies.
Okay, you say
Bend
Psalms.
your bend your bow, whet your sword, right?
Mm-hmm.
My enemies are encompassed me round about.
Yeah, I remember him saying that. I don't remember what verse it was though.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean, so I'm telling you, just like the Psalms in general. That's the
okay.
one thing. A lot of people, I feel, in my opinion, the best places to spend your time are
Mm-hmm.
with the Torah, Genesis, Exodus, um, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, and then Proverbs and Psalms, because that's
Okay.
Moses and David. Those are
Moses.
their words.
Okay.
The two
Okay.
greatest prophets God has ever sent us. Right?
Okay.
You're studying their words.
Okay. Right. Yeah, cause when I listen to the songs when I was going to sleep, it just feels so personal. Like that's how my soul feel when I'm listening to that stuff. It's like the words is perfect though. Like you know what I mean? It seems like all righteous people feel like that and cry out like that in the spirit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the deepest. I think that's my favorite book is the Psalms because the way it's like it reconnects with my spirit. That's how my spirit feels. Like it's past the flesh and past the affliction of even death and man, all that stuff. No, it's like a great uh hurting from the inside though. Like you know what I'm saying? Like to be able to express the way of the soul in words like that, I feel like it's very profound and beautiful though.
Oh, I agree with you. David's Psalms are something else.
Oh yeah, my bad for running off at the mouth again, but yeah, I mute up and stuff, man. Appreciate the conversation, the information, the edification, and all that stuff, bro. Both of y'all and stuff. Thank you.
Hallelujah. We got anything else? Anything else we want to talk about?
Y'all about to close out? Y'all been on for a while?
No, I was. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just talking about Psalms. You know, the greatest Psalms to me is Psalm 1. The greatest promise in Psalms is if you follow the laws, statutes, and commandments, everything you do will prosper. That's his promise, even while we're in Egypt. And that's why that psalm is so beautiful. It's very enjoyable. No, I mean, I just appreciate you and everybody else, you know. that may see some hope in what's being said or the scriptures. It's not anything. Don't ever look to us. Look to the scriptures. Look to the Most High. Look to
As the good book says.
Mhm. Follow the
More evidence that Job is made up.
well. You want to set up next week. You know why Job is not real.
The issues and bring the verses, like I think going to Jasher and showing what happens when Satan appears to accuse Abraham versus the narrative at the beginning of Job. Absolutely, because I think Job is very important to the New Testament and Christianity in terms of making you think it's you just because complete chaos is in your life. It's not because God's not with you.
Well, and then what's the other book where? What's the book where the mother watches the nine children
Maccabees,
get killed?
Maccabees.
Maccabees.
And that's the
There's a
thing.
big.
They want you to think Antiochus Epiphanes is the king in Daniel 8:25 who's broken without hand. Brother, how is he broken without hand? Remind us.
I can't. Oh my
Wow, God
goodness.
really showed us there. That's crazy.
Oh.
Like the humor y'all bring to it too, man. It's like, these some real serious studies. So to kind of add the humor to it, kind of lighten the blow of the deception and stuff though. So I do truly appreciate y'all's sense of humor too, because y'all be saying some funny stuff though. Dang.
Both Brother James and I can attest to. R.O. has a wonderful sense of humor.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's just exactly. Um.
You say he'll laugh and had them in derision.
He'll yeah. Derision. Derision means in chaos. You know something.
I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Derision. Yeah, you can look that up. No, it's
The verse is
Psalm
Psalms. I want to
44,
say it's Psalms 2:4,
2:4.
brother. Yeah,
Yeah,
two
and
2:4.
four.
that's what it said. It said, "He that sitteth in the heaven shall laugh; the Lord shall have them in derision.
Yes.
Shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure."
Displeasure.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, so go read Psalms 1 verses 4 through 6. You
Okay.
know, he gives this is what he's going to do, and then but he see what he says about the wicked in Psalms 1.
Okay. Okay. This Psalms 1. It says, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly,
Mm-hmm.
nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful." Verse 2. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. Verse 3. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Verse 4. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Verse 5. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment. I'm sorry. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand, excuse me, in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. It's verse 6. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
All right. So let's do this. Brother Mayor, you got anything else? Okay. Dame, let's let you.
No, I don't.
All right,
Okay.
Dame, let's let you close this out, okay? So let's go, Dame, go to Numbers
Okay.
chapter 6.
Number 6. Okay.
And I want you to read verses 22 to 27.
27. Okay.
Coming coming from an Israelite to all the Israelites who want to follow the truth.
And just
Okay.
remember, it's Moses speaking here, not Aaron, though.
Not Aaron, yeah.
Okay. Okay. This is the book of Numbers 6:22. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. Mm.
There it is. All right, give that
Hallelujah.
one a high five.
It seems simple, man. That's what's so scary about all this stuff. It seems real simple, but we definitely got off the track and stuff, though, man. So yeah, I look forward to all this. Yeah, thank y'all, man. What y'all gonna bring next week, brothers?
We gotta see, but it'll be good. Don't worry. Maybe we'll look at Job. We'll look at Job.
Okay,
But I really
okay.
think peace is coming any day now. So if it happens, we'll probably do an impromptu one that day, because obviously that's an important watchman sign here, and we gotta be blasting the trumpet when it comes. So
Right, right. All right, man. Once again, man, I thank y'all. Appreciate y'all, good brothers, for bringing the word, the truth, the light, the sense of humor, and all that, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna fall back and mute up, and you know what I'm saying. Same bat time, same bat channel next week. Well, I don't know about the same time, but definitely next
Yeah.
week. Okay. Okay.
I bless you
Dang,
and be
I
with
pray.
you. Hallelujah.
Everybody else down there, thank you so much. All
All
right,
right,
Baruch.
Brooke.